Did you forget the plot of half of the Transformer movies?
Guys, today in this video, I'm going to be ranking all 7 live-action Transformers movies. First of all, I know you might have 2 questions. Why am I doing this right now at such a random time of the year? Well, I've just been binging through all of them, trying to rewatch them, and also watch the ones that I haven't seen. And the second one is, why are you doing a tier list for only 7 movies? Well, the honest answer is, it's just visually pleasing to me, and I feel like it's visually pleasing to you guys because you could just see my rankings, with your own eyes instead of me just blurting them out. So yeah, let's just get right into this list. I don't want to waste any more time. If you guys like this video, please consider dropping a like, and also if you want to stick around for more movie-related content, I'm your guy. Click that subscribe button. Thank you guys. Let's get right into this. All right, guys. So we're starting off with Michael Bay's, what is this, 5-quel? A trilogy and then plus 2 sequels. That's kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean, how they had the, trilogy and then they had the 2 add-ons later on. So we're starting off with the first Transformers in 2007. This is going top tier, and in my opinion, this is the best Transformers movie. I know, not to spoil it early on, but yeah, guys, this is top tier Transformers to me. I know that's not really a hot take, but I'm going to be honest with you. I actually think that as we go further down this list, I do have some hot takes that some people might disagree with. But yeah, why do I love this movie? Honestly, this is one of the most nostalgic movies for me personally. I didn't grow up loving Transformers, but rewatching this movie, I'm like, wow. The music, the actors and actresses, everything about this movie, the comedy, the action, the way the Transformers look, it's amazing. I swear to God, CGI peaked with this movie. I know that it was good in the other movies, but looking at CGI now, it's so much worse than it was 15 years ago in 2007. It's ridiculous. I absolutely love Sam Witwicky. I swear, he's literally one of my favorite movie characters. I know that might be kind of crazy, but it just feels like Shia LaBeouf is putting everything into his performance for some reason, and I don't know why, but trust me, if you rewatch this, you'll know what I mean. It doesn't feel like he's phoning it in whatsoever. He's funny, he's charismatic. I love his parents. I love John Turturro in here. I love Megan Fox as the love interest. She's great. Everyone's sweaty. Everyone looks so good, even though they're in a war zone. Josh Duhamel's in here in his prime. I mean, the guy looks super handsome, This is just a great movie. Megatron, it sets up the trilogy nicely, and I've got to say, everything is just so great in this movie, and the human characters are actually done well, which is such a critical part of these sci-fi movies involving something else where the main interest isn't humans, like Transformers, Godzilla, King Kong. Those things, you need to have good human characters. This one does it completely right. That's why I have it in top tier. All right, so moving on to my first hot take. This one people might really disagree with. I think that Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is the second best Transformers movie and also in the top tier. Now listen, I know that this movie came out during the 2008 writer's strike. I know that it came out in 2009, but in 2008 there was the writer's strike, and they were basically just writing this movie as they were going. I know it's not the best movie in the world. I think it's maybe a 7 out of 10. Again, I don't think any of the Transformers movies are really super amazing. I think that this first Transformers movie is an 8 out of 10, which is really good, but it just goes downhill from there sort of. But this movie, it kind of just takes what the first one did, and it does everything again, just slightly worse to me. And I absolutely love the final battle of this movie. It is so great. I know that, getting to that final battle, it's a little messy, the plot's a little crazy, but it still has that 2009 vibe. The music, this one has 21 Guns in it, which is such a great song. One of my favorite songs within a movie ever, I swear. I don't even really like that song. I just like it because of this movie. Oh, God, this is just such peak Transformers. Everyone still looks so great. You've got cool villains in here, and I love all the pyramid stuff. I don't know. It's just, again, it kind of just feels like a copy of the first one, just slightly worse, and I still like that feeling it kind of gives you. And man, overall, even though there is the weird scene of the little guy humping Megan Fox's leg, which I know some stuff did age kind of poorly, still love this movie. It's going right here. Again, guys, another kind of hot take here. Dark of the Moon, I just don't really like that much. It's gonna go right here in mid. So let me explain why. I feel like this movie, first of all, it's very long from what I can remember. Also, for some reason, well, I know that's not just for some reason, we don't have Megan Fox in this anymore. They replaced her with a girl named, I believe, Carly. She's okay, don't get me wrong. But then she kind of transforms into the bad person, whatever. That is in this movie, right? I'm not going crazy. And then things just kind of get weird from there because we're kind of going through the Battle of Chicago, which is pretty cool. But something about Sentinel Prime, I just don't really love. And the whole Patrick Dempsey storyline, which it's cool to see him in here, but I don't know, man. It just feels like it feels a lot less Michael Bay. And I know that Michael Bay, like, he kind of gets clowned on as a director, but this movie just doesn't feel as good as these, even though it is kind of like that finale of the trilogy. Again, I think the Battle of Chicago is awesome. We see Megatron. Like I said, Sentinel Prime, yeah, he looks cool, but there's a lot of stuff in here that's just kind of weird to me and that I'm just not, like, in love with. I don't know. Just kind of like a weird film overall. And also, I feel like we got a lot less Shia in this one and, like, his charm. It's just, like, not the same as these first two. So, yeah, it's just going to go right here kind of in, like, mid. All right, so we're moving on from the pretty solid overall Bay trilogy to the two Bay sequels. These are super infamous movies. Michael Bay was basically begged by the studios to make these movies. And also, for those of you that don't know, I'm not being, like, political or controversial here. These two movies were pretty much just targeted at, like, Chinese audiences. That's, like, a fact. I'm not just, like, making that up. So you can kind of tell in the movies that there's, like, some product placement and also, like, how the final act of this movie happens to take place in Hong Kong. Not that that's anything unusual, but, like, there are stories about it. It's just, like, a little bit weird. And I feel like that does affect the quality of the movie. But regardless, this movie's hot garbage. Moving on to, Age of Extinction here. I know I didn't really make that clear. First of all, we've got Mark Wahlberg. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually kind of like Mark Wahlberg. I don't know if that's controversial to say. I know he's had his issues in the past, but I think he's funny. I think he's charming, and I visited Boston like a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, and I just loved it. So now I just love a good Boston actor. Gonna be honest with you, though. His name is Cade Yeager for some reason, which is one of the stupidest names because why would a guy from the middle of Texas be named Cade Yeager? This movie also has the infamous Romeo and Juliet laws scene, which is like such a weird choice for this movie. Basically, Mark Wahlberg is like having this conflict with his daughter who's like underage, and she has a boyfriend who's like 23, and when they're arguing about it, he's like, you can't date my daughter, you're literally an adult, you're like way older than her, this is illegal. He like pulls out a card that says, no it's not, we're protected by the Romeo and Juliet laws of the state of Texas. It's kind of weird. I don't know why you're promoting underage relationships like that, and obviously that's not the only problem with this movie. The whole plot is just so convoluted and garbage. They just threw in these dinosaurs at the last minute. Dinosaurs, listen, not to sound like a kid, but they're one of my favorite, I know they're real, but like made up type of monsters just in general. I love dinosaurs as a kid. But yeah, it's just a very weird plot. Not much going on here. The side characters are atrocious. And yeah, I really don't have that much to say. There's just so much like suspension of disbelief in this as well. Is that the right phrase? I don't know. But yeah, basically there's just a lot of plot armor in this movie for our main characters and a super forgettable villain because I'm honestly having a hard time remembering who the villain even is. But yeah, that's going to go right here. One of the worst movies I've ever seen is Transformers: The Last Knight. This is going to be the worst Transformers movie, guys. This movie takes what was good about Age of Extinction, which was not much. I'm just going to be real with you, okay? It wasn't that much. And just makes it worse. This movie to me is legitimately like a 1 out of 10 movie. I don't have any biases against this movie. I don't have anything like making me like some type of political thing or something. No. Literally, I just think this is one of the worst movies ever made from a plot standpoint, a character standpoint. There's this weird side plot about John Turturro's character coming back. There's this weird side plot about like the Nazis and Merlin, the wizard, coming back, who's played by Stanley Tucci, who was also in this movie as another character, or was he in this movie? I don't even remember. There is some weird stuff in here. Quintessa's the villain, for some reason I remember that, and she just does like nothing the whole movie. She makes Optimus Prime bad for a little bit, and like that's about it. This movie is hot garbage. The characters are worse. The plot is worse, like I said. Nothing's memorable about this movie except for the fact that Anthony Hopkins, for some reason's in here, and this annoying side butler robot guy. I can't believe I'm even talking about this. Like, this movie is just so convoluted. It's garbage. One of the worst movies I have ever seen. I just watched it for the first time recently, too, and yeah, this movie sucks. Bumblebee. Ugh, I know a lot of people like this movie. Gonna be honest with you, by the way, I watched this movie this morning for the first time. Just going to keep it real here. I watched this for the first time. Going to put this in mid, behind Dark of the Moon. I almost said Dark Side of the Moon. But yeah, I don't think this movie's that good. I feel like Haley Steinfeld, she's great in it. I think she's a great actress. I really like her as Kate Bishop in the MCU. But I don't know. It's like kind of fun. We have John Cena in here. I love that 80s vibe. It kind of feels like Stranger Things. But the only thing is, I just don't really like the plot. And I've got to say, I feel like this movie is swinging for the fences to be, like, quirky. And I get that these movies were kind of campy, like, up here. but this movie just feels like it was targeted more at like children in a way. Like, I mean, like legitimately like 10-year-olds. And it just feels weird. I don't know. I mean, I like the relationship between Haley Steinfeld and Bumblebee. And I don't know. I just feel like there's some weird things in here, like the side plot about her like being a diver, and then at the end she like dives into the water. Haha. And then the stuff with her dad, I really like how he passed away and how she kind of has that, she's looking for that connection, and Bumblebee kind of helps her with that. But overall, I just don't care about any other characters in this movie, except maybe John Cena, but unfortunately, he's invisible for the entire movie. So, yeah, there's basically just no villain in here. Also, you know what's kind of funny? I literally just said, oh yeah, I watched this movie this morning, and I was talking about how John Cena's in here as like the villain. Completely forgot that he's not even the villain, and there's just like these two random Decepticons that I don't even know the names of. So, clearly the villain's not that good if I literally just forgot about them if I watched this movie this morning. So yeah, this movie's just going to go kind of in like mid. I know some people will put it up here as like the best Transformers movie. A little bit too quirky for my liking. It wasn't bad though. I like these movies. I could rewatch them, but yeah, just not that good. All right, so last up on this list is going to be Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I guess like another attempt at rebooting the franchise. This movie was pretty garbage to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. There's just so much I don't like about this movie. It's just like a normal MacGuffin story where we have this artifact that everyone's trying to go after. I feel like the beasts in this movie weren't utilized properly, and they were kind of just boring normal Transformers. I don't really like the designs of all the Transformers. It's just so weird to me that like we're rebooting this pretty much for a third time, unless Bumblebee is connected to this franchise. I don't remember if they said it is like connected or if it's not. It's so weird the direction the Transformers franchise is taken. But this movie commits the ultimate sin, that being that it has terrible human characters. I just couldn't care less about the human characters in this. I'd put it above these because these are just so outrageously stupid. This one, it had some like cool music. I remember the final, battle was like pretty cool. It's like your standard final battle. Bumblebee is sidelined the entire movie just so that he could have like a cool comeback scene, but I would have rather him just been in the whole movie. It would have been a lot better. Don't even get me started on the Pete Davidson main character. What's his name? Like Mirage or whatever. I'm not even like a Pete Davidson hater or anything. I just think he was so frustrating because all I heard was his voice, and I was like, this is just Pete Davidson as a Transformer. Such a weird choice. And also, I don't really like the Hasbro tease at the end. I thought that was kind of weird with like the, what's it connecting to? Like G.I. Joe, I believe. Yeah, just kind of weird. And I don't know, this movie's pretty trash. So yeah, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think of my tier list, but more importantly, I want to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on all the Transformers movies? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Where would you rank these movies? I mean, I want to hear your ranking in the comments down below. But guys, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate all the support. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so every little, like, subscription means the world to me. Thank you guys for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.